Paso de nyuma la bentuma sera. Faso de nyuma nga wilanga bara. Faso de nyuma bisoro para lade. Faso de nyuma bisoro para la. Ine mahora nya bisoro para la. Motogoti ya bisoro para la. Nabilanga bara. Nabilanga doge.
My name is Leslie Nansky, and I am one of the founders and the executive director currently of Expanding Lives. So Expanding Lives is an organization that works with young women from West Africa who are the first generation of girls to go to high school. And the idea is that we will help them to become leaders in their own community. So what we do is we identify girls who have already proven themselves by succeeding in high school and also by overcoming very challenging odds in their own country, and we bring them to Chicago for 6 weeks to attend a conference, a workshop, to help them to become leaders when they come home.
My name is Rikos Rosing. My name is Arakasene. My name is Eric Bia.
My name is Aimee Isabelle Tulin. I'm from Benin, and I'm the director of Farm Development NGO.
So there's a group of us who worked in Niger, specifically in Niger, West Africa, and we noticed that there were a lot of girls who were not attending junior high school. So for example, I taught at a junior high when I was there, and that's a 4-year school, and the first year that I taught there, the girls who were coming in 7th grade, there were about 6 girls for every 45 boys. And 4 years later, there were only 3 of those girls left. And when you get to the high school level, there were only 1 or 2 girls, and at the university level, I had no students whatsoever. So we know that girls are certainly as intelligent as boys are. We knew there was some sort of a problem. So when we looked into it, we looked at what other organizations were doing to try to combat the fact that there were not a lot of girls that were attending school. The reasons are oftentimes financial. Sometimes they're cultural, that some people don't believe that girls are as smart as boys are. Oftentimes they have to work very hard, and if there's not enough money to send 2 children to school, they'll choose to send the boy to school as opposed to the girl. So we looked at what a lot of other organizations were doing in order to combat this, and we found that there were a lot of organizations that were helping with primary school education, trying to keep girls in primary, and there were a lot of organizations that helped girls when they were at the secondary level if they dropped out or didn't attend school. But there weren't really a lot of people working to keep the girls in secondary and to help the girls that had already proven themselves to take those leadership skills and really expand upon them. And so that's where we stepped in and decided, okay, that's what we're going to work on. There were a group of us here. Some people were educators. Some people had experience in Niger. One Nigerian. We got together and discussed what I think was a seed of an idea, and sort of talked about what it would look like. And then in 2008, we got 501c3 status, and we just decided, okay, let's just do it and see what happens. And I think we've come a long way since then. We've developed the program quite a bit from our initial ideas. So the initial idea was for the girls to come here to Chicago and take advantage of all the different kinds of classes and things that take place in Chicago. And since then, we've sort of built our own curriculum in the beginning, we also thought that the beginning goal was to help the girls to stay in school so they could finish and go to university. Only 2% of girls go to university in Niger, and we wanted to bump up that number. What's happened since then is the girls have outshone us, our ideas. They have proven that they can be leading things when they're in high school, and they do amazing things when they go back. We have girls right now putting on, this very week, they're putting on a program for 26 younger girls, teaching them about menstruation, something that's traditionally not taught, about mediation, solving problems by talking with people, leadership skills, doing English, things that'll help them with getting into high school and furthering their education, but also becoming active members in the community. So 2 years ago, there's a core group of us that went to Benin, and again, we brought the Nigerian girls down to Benin and met up with other girls there and had a pretty rich and positive experience in Benin, and found the partner from Aid Development, Women in Development, and we felt like we could work with them, possibly even to help us to connect with other non-for-profits in Benin. So this year we worked only with them, and we took girls only that were only connected with their program. They came this year then from Benin. It's the first time we've had girls come from Benin. So that was it was in the beginning especially, it seemed like it was very, very different for us, or at least for me it seemed like it was very different. Culturally, I feel like I know Niger well enough to predict how the girls were going to act, and the girls from Benin being a little bit more urban, was a little bit of a different kind of feel to the program, but still overall very positive. I mean, we've never had girls from Niger come and just take over the dance program, and this year the girls from Benin they owned that. That was completely theirs. They came with a lot of different kinds of ideas. And I'm really excited to see how they're going to share those things with girls from Niger in the future. I think that's going to be really cool. And we have a contributing board, which is great. We have a junior board that runs a number of fundraisers, a union from a local high school, two local high schools that has a charity drive, and we are one of the recipients for that, a 5K, and everything else is just donations from people, just small, a lot of $50, $100, $200, $500 donations that come in from people who either meet the girls or know people who are involved in the program. It's all volunteer, so nobody's paid. We have a lot of high school students that help. We have a lot of university students that help. And we have a core of professionals who in the summer are willing to give, 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week to the organization to teach, and that's great. And the host families also are not paid. They do it because I think they do it because they think it's going to be a cultural experience for their families, and because they know they're giving back, and then they know they're making a really strong impact for a family or two families back in West Africa. And Expanding Lives pays for everything for the girls. We pay for their identification, the pictures they need for that identification cards, for their passports, their visas, their travel to get all these things done, their airfare, all the classes they take here, the school supplies they get when they're here, health insurance, they see a pro bono dentist while they're here, and then when they go home, we support them with, we give them educational support, and if there's medical issues, we also try to take care of those things because we don't want we know that those are the kinds of things that will hinder their education. What we try to have an equal number of new Americans on the scene, and most of them are young. Like at a high school age that are the girls who are coming from West Africa, their peers, their same age group, same education level. And I think it's challenging sometimes for them to be able to communicate and to cross some of the the cultural I don't want to say barriers because it doesn't necessarily stop them. In fact, I don't think there's a single year that's gone by where some American and some West African has not said to me, you think they're going to be so different, and they end up being the same. We think the same things are funny, we think the same things are interesting, we think the same things are amusing, we think the same things are beautiful. So that stuff, it definitely happens. Every single year it happens, and every single year there are people who are able to cross that barrier. And that's just this awesome. I mean, it's awesome to see, and it's often awesome every single year to hear somebody from both sides come and say that. In fact, that's something that we didn't have in 2008. I didn't really think that it was the most important thing. And now when I see what it does for people, when I see how it transforms the way that people think, especially young people, I know that it's really one of the most important components of our lives.
But I think at this point now, like, they know that I don't speak perfect French, and I know they don't speak perfect English, so we kind of are able to just figure it out. And like, we never have a conversation that's just in one language. It's always kind of like a mix of things. So I think that's cool, but I think that's something that we've kind of worked out throughout the 6 weeks.
We would like to continue to grow things on the Niger and Benin side. A strong group of young women who are there. We have girls now who are employed, who are married, starting to have children, who are settled. We would like to continue to grow things on that side so that impact. I mean, the idea of expanding lives comes from one person having a life that is expanded and full. That name has come to mean that they lead other people to have expanded lives as well. And our girls, as I said, the girls are definitely proving that there.